Hey there pretty people, and welcome back to Such Pretty. Today I have a swatch video on some of the foiled eyeshadows from Makeup Geek Cosmetics that were gifted to me. This video is not sponsored in any way, so I'm not pushing you guys to go and buy these eyeshadows or anything. I just wanted to show you some swatches just in case you were considering buying some of them in the future. I'm also trying a different video style that I adapted from Xsparkage that'll allow me to put out content for you guys when I'm having like low energy or sick weeks. So without waiting any longer, let's go ahead and get started. So first let's talk about the packaging. Each eyeshadow comes in this tiny little cardboard box. The foiled eyeshadows come in a reflective box with kind of like a rose gold kind of bronze color pattern here on the front. There's a little window here that protects the eyeshadow from being smudged or touched. Here you can see there's a reflection there of my lights. And there's also the name of the type of eyeshadow that it is. Here you can see it says foiled and how much product you're getting in the eyeshadow pan. On the back of the box, they have the ingredients, the website where you can purchase the eyeshadows. There's another little window here, although this one isn't protected by plastic. It allows you to see the name of the eyeshadow that's in the box. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this one for you. The other eyeshadows are already in box just to kind of keep the video short. Each eyeshadow is encased in this little cardboard envelope. Ooh, I'm opening that upside down. As I was saying, it's encased in this little cardboard envelope here, just kind of held in place by these little flaps and from being folded on itself. Again, here you can see the little windows that allow you to see the product and the name of the product. Pretty much all of the Makeup Geek Cosmetic eyeshadows come in little pans just like this, packaged in the cardboard boxes, which allow you to put them in your own little Z palette. So unless you're buying a pre-made palette from Makeup Geek, your eyeshadows will arrive like this. As printed on the box, you're getting 1.8 grams of product for $9.99. So that's just a little bit bigger than a MAC eyeshadow. So let's go ahead and do some swatches. The first one I've been showing off to you is the shade Untamed. On the back of the pan is the name of the eyeshadow, along with where the eyeshadow is created and how much product is inside of the pan. Is an absolutely gorgeous gold eyeshadow. It picks up a lot of light and kind of has a copper and yellow shift to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this shade on the back of my hand. There's no primer here, so I'm gonna do one swirl and one swipe. Bam. See, I did blend it out this time. And here you can kind of see it shifting in the light. I am absolutely in love with this eyeshadow. The eyeshadow is finely milled and super pigmented, as you can see here. This particular eyeshadow is pigmented enough that it doesn't need a color base underneath it to help anything pop out. However, if you would like to put a color base underneath it, that is totally up to you. I did not have any problems with this eyeshadow creasing on me, but if you tend to have oily lids, I would definitely recommend wearing an eyeshadow primer. It's called Caitlin Rose. Here's the label on the back. The shade Caitlin Rose is a purple eyeshadow with a lavender shift to it, and it's also a very warm toned eyeshadow, but it's not as warm as the shade Masquerade that I'll be swatching for you after I swatch this one. And for the swatch, I'm going to do one swirl. With this eyeshadow, since it didn't swatch as pigmented as Untamed did, I would definitely recommend layering this eyeshadow on top of itself or applying it on top of a color base along with your eyeshadow primer. So here you can see there's just a little bit of shift here. I'm going to go ahead and do another little swatch on top, just a couple swirls here, and just to show you what it looks like layered on top. And as you can see, it definitely looks a little bit more pigmented than the first swatch. So I definitely recommend layering this particular eyeshadow on top of itself just to make sure you kind of reach that full opacity. The next eyeshadow I have for you is the color Masquerade, and it's definitely more warm in tone compared to the shade Caitlin Rose. I'm just going to go ahead and reach over and grab Caitlin Rose just so I can show you guys a little side by side of Caitlin Rose right next to Masquerade. And as you can see, Masquerade is definitely more reddish kind of plum tone in comparison to Caitlin Rose, which is still a warm toned purple eyeshadow, just Masquerade has more reds and pinks to it that make it definitely stand out as more of a plum red warm toned purple. And now for a swatch, just a little swirl here and on the back of my hand. Here you can see that Masquerade applied a little patchy and similar to the way that Caitlin Rose applied. You can kind of see the skin underneath the color of the swatch. So I definitely recommend layering this eyeshadow as well. Either using a eyeshadow base, colored base, and definitely your eyeshadow primer will help this eyeshadow stand out a little bit more. The next foiled eyeshadow that I have to show you is the shade Pegasus. Here's the back label. And even though this is a foiled metallic eyeshadow, it kind of has a frosty element to it, mostly because it's almost like a pastel metallic eyeshadow. I know that sounds kind of weird, but the shades in this are actually really light. The darkest color in this is a nice kind of deep turquoise color, but even then it's still kind of a bright shade, and the highest color in this shift is a silver color. So now I'm going to go ahead and swatch this for you. Just a little swirl here and on the back of my hand. It's a little on my knuckles here, but you can see that this eyeshadow performed way better than Masquerade and Caitlin Rose. Here you can see the turquoise undertones as well as kind of like the silver highlight to it. You can also see here that the swatch definitely came off far more opaque than in comparison to Caitlin Rose or Masquerade. When wearing this particular eyeshadow, I definitely recommend wearing your eyeshadow primer. If you want the turquoise tones to pop a little bit better, I definitely recommend layering this particular eyeshadow on top of a turquoise colored base or even a slightly bluer base just to help those cool tone blue colors to pop a little bit better. And the last shade that I have for you is the color Fantasy. This color is actually really similar to Pegasus in the sense that it kind of has that frosted pastel feel to it, even though it is a metallic eyeshadow. The lowest colors in this are a kind of mint sort of lime green color, and it also kind of has that silver frosted shade highlight to it. So let's go ahead and do the swatch. Just another swirl here. I'm going to go ahead and apply this swatch downwards on the back of my hand in comparison to the other swatches that are kind of pointing the other way. As you can see here, the swatch didn't really apply as opaque as Pegasus and Untamed. It kind of had that patchy, your skin's kind of showing through the same way that Masquerade and Caitlin Rose did. You can also see that pastel element that I was mentioning earlier. The color is much more lighter in the swatch than it does look in the pan. So I definitely recommend using a colored base or a white base, or even just layering this particular eyeshadow on top of itself to make it much more opaque. And that is it for the swatch video, you guys. I hope these swatches were able to help you out a little bit if you're considering purchasing these eyeshadows in the future. As you saw, some of them didn't apply as opaque on the first swatch, but definitely layering them on top of each other will make them much more opaque. And definitely play around with them if you purchase them. Apply them on some colored bases, you know, just have a lot of fun. That's what makeup is all about after all. I wanted to apologize for this video kind of being all over the place. Like I mentioned before, it's definitely a new sort of video technique style that I wanted to try out, just to kind of focus more on the eyeshadows themselves than instead of me rambling on like I'm doing now. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you like what you saw here today. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to have you here for future videos. And until next time, guys, I'll see ya. Bye!